Hi friends, I'm playing with glazes today, and I know a lot of you have been having a lot of fun. So this is a fun little technique you can do if you just want to do some practicing. Is the importance of glazing is laying down each layer is very diluted, very transparent, so that you can see the underlying layers showing through. So kind of fun. I just went through, started with a light glaze of yellow, went over the top with light glazes of these different colors, and you can kind of see the greens and oranges showing through. I wanted to show you though, it's really a great way to find some fun color combinations in there, and you can darken your colors by doing that. What I wanted to do first is let's just draw a little flower here. Grab my Ohuhu marker. So we've got the center of our flower, and let me use a pencil. Of course, I don't have a pencil here, so we'll just, oh, here's my pencil. Because I do like guidelines. So we're just going to create some petals here, like that. And then I'm going to go around, and I'm going to start with my layer of yellow again. So you want to make sure that layer is pretty diluted. So I'm adding about 80% water, 20% pigment there. I'm just going to use the tip of my brush and then the side of my brush and more pressure. So point, press, there we go. Just keep going around, point, press, there we go, and we'll just keep going here, press. So these guidelines are just huge for me. Very light value here, keep going. And we're going to let that dry. There we go. Okay, and then let's do a stem here. So I'm going to use, maybe let's use a blue. So I've got some blue on here, and very light value again, and we'll create a couple little stems and leaves like that. Another one here. Opening up my brush. So we've got those blue little stems here. Maybe just one more. There we go. So all very light washes. That way, when I go over these with my glaze, it's going to be able to see the bottom layer under there. Now, the important thing again is to make sure these layers really dry. I'm just gonna give this one, these are pretty dry. I'm gonna give that yellow a little shot with my heat gun. Okay, and then I'm going to go over the yellow with a red. So I've got my Paul Rubens My Lane palette here, you know, is pretty much one of my favorites. I'm going to go into that red, but a very light, again, watered down version of that. And we'll just go over some of these petals. So point, press, see, it's a very light wash. Point, press, point, press, and I'm just going to soften this line a tiny bit with a damp brush, because I'm not a hard line person. Just right along the edge there, and we'll keep going, but notice it's turning orange. Very light wash. across those. So I'm not going in with too much color. Using the side of my brush. And it's turning a beautiful orange, and so much prettier than taking an orange right out of my tin. It's got this beautiful organic feel. Side of my brush. There we go. And look how beautiful that orange is. Just softening some of those lines. You don't have to soften these, that's just kind of what I do. And then let's add some yellow to blue, because yellow and blue make green, but instead of mixing it on my palette, which would be this type of color, let me add one leaf. So that is a color right out of my palette, a green right out of my palette. But now look at how beautiful the green I'm going to create here. Let me grab a little bit of that yellow, water it down a bit, and glaze over that. Ooh, look how pretty. It's this beautiful organic type of green. Isn't that pretty? We could go back in to the bottom here and just add in a tiny bit of that blue. And look how much prettier that is. This color is beautiful, but much flatter. Now I'm gonna go in on this right now with a little bit of that red right in the middle. And it's going to fan out. Just pick up some of that. There we go. But look how much prettier that is when you do something like that. I can even use a little bit more red on the inside. Like this, just glazing over. And we get more and more of that orange. Just lightening that edge. So much more interesting here. Now we could keep going. We could add a little bit more blue to this. Now it's not quite dry. So this side, I'm just glazing with more of the blue. So it's just really darkening that blue. And this side, I'm gonna add in a tiny bit more blue. So you can keep playing with these colors. If I added in blue over the top of that, it turns even a different green. So have fun, do these little exercises and see what color combinations you can come up with. But look at how much more interesting that is versus using just a color out of the pan. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to that. There we go. So much prettier. On the inside here, I might add, let's see, let's do a little bit of yellow on the inside there. Like that, and you could even glaze over again. And it's going to darken the yellow that was underneath as well as that yellow or that red that we mixed. There you go. Just adding, you can really just glaze as much as you want here and see what colors you come up with. And this is the magic that is watercolors, is these beautiful mixes you can create. Here's red. I'm going to glaze over a little bit with that red. And we're getting that orange, so just keep adding layers. I could add in again to here. Let's add into that stem. Maybe some yellow to that. And look at the beautiful green that we get. So pretty. Maybe add in more yellow. I mean, just the sky is the limit here. Beautiful, but what's just so fascinating to me is the different layers you can really achieve here. Let's go in with a little bit more of that red. Just to the center here again. And let that spread out. So much more interesting than if I had went into, here is an orange out of my palette, which is pretty, but look at the difference next to this one. So here we go, point, press, point, press, point, press. I mean, this is very pretty, but look at how interesting this is compared to this one that we mixed those colors on the palette. This one is going to be a lot flatter and just one consistent color. So have fun with this little technique and experiment with your different colors, see what you come up with, and create those greens and blues and purples on your paper. All right, I hope you had fun, and I can't wait to hear what you experiment with. Happy painting.